October the 19th, 1881. I would like to share with you the adventures of Great Uncle Henry, a learned man, always in pursuit of perfection, which we all know is an impossible goal to achieve. He lived in our area with his lady partner Mildred, who did all the cooking, cleaning, chores, and kept him warm at night. His passion, however, was his orchard and the outstanding cider he produced, which was renowned throughout the area and beyond. This far outweighed his secret meetings with his next-door neighbour's wife Grace by their adjoining screen under the willow tree, where they would contemplate nature and even sometimes reenact the mating ritual of the lesser spotted mardyke. However, one cold and dark evening in December, when the rain was beating against the windows and Henry was sat in front of the roaring log fire, reading volume 6 of Hammersworth's History of the World, he happened upon an article by Henry Walter Bates about his expedition in 1848 to the Andes and the discovery of the long-lost Andean civilization who had countably developed the perfect apple tree, which in turn produced the perfect cider. This would fill his mind to the point that he could no longer think of anything else, not even Mildred or Grace. Now Henry not only sowed his cider locally, but also provided the tall ships with this wonderful juice. You see, it was purchased by the sea captains to take on board for consumption by all the crew to combat scurvy. An order was received for 10 barrels of medium cider by Captain Jack, and to be delivered to Barnstable. Great Uncle loaded the barrels on the back of his horse and cart, and off he went. You could get to Barnstable a lot quicker in those days, as there was no motorway to slow you down then. When he arrived, Captain Jack was there waiting. "Hallo, me hearty," he called out. You see, they spoke like that. No reason. That is the way it was. "Where are you bound for?" asked Uncle. "Across the Atlantic to Macapa," Jack replied. "Why? Are you coming along?" This was Uncle's great chance to fill his one desire. He had come to that fork in his life, like we all do from time to time, and his next decision would map out his future. "Yes," he said, "I am." "Well, climb aboard," said Jack, another seafaring term. That night they cast off and set sail into the evening sun. It always goes that way, you know. "Which way are we going?" asked Great Uncle Henry. "Down the channel and turn left," replied Captain Jack. "You mean go to port," said Uncle. Now Jack was a little hard of hearing and replied, "Can't stand the stuff, but I'll have a pint of your cider." They sailed on until one day Captain Jack, whilst looking at the open sea and smelling the air, said, "Throw over the bucket." They tied it to a rope first, fortunately, or else they would have lost it. You see, you must be so careful when issuing instructions. They hauled the bucket back on board, and Jack took a drink. "Ah, sweet water. We are nearing the mouth of the Andes." On they sailed, and for long Captain Jack was casting off Uncle Henry on a deserted beach, ready for his onward trip up the Andes to Iquitos, where he would go in search of the left-legged civilization who held the secret of the perfect cider. So there was Great Uncle Henry on this deserted beach, contemplating the onward journey, when he stumbled across this boat in need of repair. "What should I do?" he thought, and at that moment in dropped Great Aunt of Annika Rice. There she was, coming up the beach with a hammer, saw, bucket of nails, and a few lengths of driftwood. They soon had the boat shipshape. What a woman! What a woman! He sailed and sailed up the Amazon until Uncle came upon Iquitos. Here he parked up the boat, moored it up, and set off on foot. 3 days he hiked until finally he came across the wonderful orchards and the sweet smell of the finest cider. The Left-Legged tribe welcomed him in and sat around in a big circle with Great Uncle Henry. Opposite him was the big chief Dab-a-Dab-a-Doo. On his right sat his son Glug-a-Gug. Next to him sat his wife Dipple-Dipple, who was cradling their baby Apple-Dapple. They talked of many things. They discussed tree rootstocks, pollinators, pests and diseases, malolactic fermentation, pH values, specific gravity, and much more, all whilst consuming copious amounts of their delicious cider. Then, all of a sudden, Chief Dab-a-Dab-a-Doo raised his hands. They all stood up, including Uncle Henry. They joined hands and started singing and dancing. You put your left leg in, you put your left leg out, in, out, and shake it all about. And that is the yarn of Great Uncle Henry and the Left Leg in tribe. I do hope you liked it.